Alright, so here's the sub panel. I showed you that before. And the electrician is going to install a 60 amp breaker here in the center. So this panel is rated for 100 amps total. 100 amps max. And let's see, this comes from the solar roof, and this goes to the HVAC, the condenser that's outside for the air conditioning. So there's enough room in here for this. So when Solar City installed this, I believe they installed this purposely to let me put in a solar charger at that point, because they were already associated with Tesla in some respects anyway. And then this is where the solar panel comes in, the solar roof comes in. And just on the other side of this wall is our main panel, and then we're going to go look at that next. Make sure we have enough service coming into the house to support this operation. All right, so here's our meter from PG&E, and it says CL200. That means this meter can support 200 amp service, but if I go to the PG&E website and or my bill, nothing on there says how much power we're getting from PG&E or what the maximum power we can get, which is kind of strange in my opinion. Anyway, we're going to go look at the main panel next and see what's going on in that. Alright, so here's our main panel. Put this up. So we have two breakers in here. We have a 100 amp breaker here and a 60 amp. This is what goes to the HVAC. Actually, it goes to the sub panel inside. Originally this was a 40 amp breaker and it went to the HVAC directly. So when they put in the solar roof, they upgraded that. So now we're going to take this off carefully, not touching anything. There's a live circuit in here. So according to our electrician, the wires coming in to our main breaker system here are heavy enough gauge that he knows it's 200 amp service. So, and also based on other jobs he's done in the neighborhood. So I believe him, and so we should be a-okay putting in a 60 amp breaker, and also running the car charger when I want and not have to worry about exceeding our amperage limits. So in any case, we are getting a permit, which you should do. The permit is to protect the homeowner. You want to make sure the work is done properly. So we're installing a new circuit, a new breaker. We're changing the wire. So he's going to change the wire from here. He's going to change this to a 100 amp breaker, most likely. And then this, from here, this is what feeds the sub panel. And that's going to be a heavier gauge wire to handle 100 amps to get to the sub panel. That'll be maxed out the sub panel, which is fine, as long as you don't put in a hot tub or something, he said, which we're not going to do that. So otherwise, he said they would just replace this main panel and put more breakers in here. Then you wouldn't have to worry about it. But we're not going to do that because this is the last thing we're going to do in this house before we move out at some point. So in any case, this is in here now, and he's going to come on Tuesday and fix all this up so we can start charging our RAV4, which is coming in next week. All right. All right, the electrician is come and gone. So we do have 200 amp service, and he replaced the original 100 amp breaker with a new one because that's 50 years old. So that's how old the house is, 55. Yeah, okay. And he put a new 100 amp breaker here on the bottom. This was a 60 to feed the sub panel on the inside. So it's all good. He had to fix the ground neutral bus bar, but he did all that without charging me extra, so that was nice. And we'll go inside and see what's happening inside. Okay, so here's the inside installation just as I laid it out. And so looking at the 100 amp sub panel, you have a new 60 amp breaker, which is what you need for a 48 amp charger to run at full power for hours at a time at 25%. And so when fortunately, I think I mentioned this before, when they installed the solar roof, which is what this comes in on this breaker, They left this purposely here to put in a charger, because even back then there were some electric cars floating around. So, and then this is still the AC. And here's our Tesla installation, Tesla charger. So the green light is on. I haven't tried to talk to it yet. I'm going to do that next. This is what it is in here, so it's nice and convenient to take the cable off. And as I found out, I suspected, if you looked earlier when I was unboxing it, I couldn't get the JC 1772 adapter, I think that's what it's called, out of the charger. It was stuck in there. If you listen carefully, when I push the button down now, you're going to hear a click, and that's some kind of servo that's, or a solenoid that's releasing it. So listen to this. Hear that? Yeah. So now it comes out, and this is what's going to plug into my car, my RAV4. So it's a little tricky to get back in there. I'll have to figure out how it went in easily that time. It'll lock back in. So if I just pull this out now, I get the Tesla charger, the NACS charger. Okay, so that's all locked in there now. So I need to use the QR code that came with it that's specific to this charger and connect to it, and use my Tesla app to talk to it and set the charging rate and other things to make sure it's working. And of course, to make sure it's working, we have to have the car here. So luckily, I just got a call from my Toyota guy, and my car is at the dealer, and they're cleaning it today. I'm picking it up tomorrow. So tomorrow, we'll be trying this charger out and seeing if it works. And be on the road with electricity. And then I have to contact PG&E to switch over to the new rate schedule, so we get cheaper off-peak power. I got to do that. I got to do about 20 different things. Talk to the insurance company. I've got a new car. I got new insurance. Talk to the Fast Track, which is bridge tolls. Talk to them. I have a new car, etc., etc. So, well, one other thing about this charger. So it comes with a special little tool, a little bit here you put in your socket driver to remove this from the yeah, so that's what this is right back here. These screws here require this particular, see if I can expose one of those. I'll have to get the flashlight in here. When you get these out, you need this little tool. There's some nuts here that are specific to this mounting. You can see the nut on that side. This has to go in there to remove that nut, so you can pull this charger off from the wall. So anyway, when I first started with this, I wanted to have a plug-in charger, and I think I'm happy with how it turned out, because this is going to be a better solution. So, and it should add some value to the house. Anybody who has an electric car is going to say, hey, there's already a Tesla charger. So another thing is, I don't want to lose this bit. I mean, maybe I could get another one from Tesla, but that'd be annoying. So I want to keep it close to the charger. So I put in this plastic bag car charger. I'm going to put it around this conduit here and put a piece of painter's tape on it, so it just stays here. I found that to be effective. If I put it in a drawer somewhere, I'll forget where I put it, or if I sell the house, I'll forget, oh yeah, this person should get that. So we're just going to do it like this, and just put this over, and then the next person that needs to take this charger off the wall is going to thank me for being so considerate. There, so it's right there. If you ever need it, there it is. Okay, that's my tip for the day. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Post a comment if you have any questions or ideas, and I'll try to respond. That's all for now, but more videos are coming, and if you want to see them, please subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification icon if you don't want to miss one. This is Beta Cygni signing out, and keep looking up.